3, 2, 1. Right. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And just as a secondary precaution, wanker.
There you go. See? So we've got that. Right. Perfect. Hello and welcome all into the MO podcast. As always, you're here with me, Consummation,
And me, Atreya.
and today we are going to be talking about the original Chris Watts, who coincidentally was also called Chris Coleman.
So I actually... Oh, my bad.
You ruined it.
No, I actually thought that the original Chris Watts was called Chris Watts. Thought that's why he was... I thought it wasn't just because he did the same thing.
But you took his name from him.
No, like they call the Yorkshire Ripper, but he didn't do the same as Jack the Ripper. And they wouldn't have called him Jack the Ripper because that's just not cricket. But I just thought the original Chris Watts was called Chris Watts. And for some strange reason, I keep getting him and Chris Pratt confused, which is probably really, really bizarre for Chris Pratt. Not that I've had conversations with him about it, but if I did, he would probably be like, why?
Yeah.
I'm a good, God-fearing Christian man.
Why did you kill your wife and 2 children, Chris Pratt? The Guardians of the Galaxy should not be doing that shit.
Yeah, he's like hacking people to pieces to Mr. Blue Sky.
Come on,
Mr. Blue Sky.
You even let that dinosaur go. Come on, Chris. Okay, sort yourself out.
Yeah, so I'll not try and get confused, but in my head, I hope you've got a picture of Chris Coleman. Did you say his name was?
Yes, I mean,
because if you don't, I'm in my head. Chris Pratt is doing all of this.
Yeah, it will come up at some point. So. Good. First and foremost, let's just talk about the website that we have, because we've got a brand new shiny website, which is the mopodcast.co.uk. That's all one word, MO Podcast.
We're a .co.uk.
Exactly. Not a .com, but at least we're not a .net. So, swings and roundabouts, really.
I mean, it was there. It was a bit cheaper, and I was like... I don't want to be a .com. I want to be a .co.uk because we're from the UK.
Exactly. It tells us where you're from and pretty much what you're going to get from us, because most UK people are scum like us.
You are not wrong.
So basically over there we...
In a loving way.
Yeah. No, we mean it heartfelt. We're not like chav scum. We're one level up from them.
With a Greg scum.
Yeah. So over there you can find we post some blogs over there. We've got ramblings and there's links to all our episodes. In the future we may post other stuff up there. It's just it's a work in progress, obviously. We already have a donation portal there called Beerfee, which is kind of like coffee, but it's for us, isn't it? We'd prefer a beer rather than a coffee if you're going to donate. But again, it's just a side joke. It's not anything that we expect anybody to do. So if you've not checked it out, go and have a look and we'll crack on. So, first and foremost, what we will say about this is, I mean, we say it quite a lot of the times on these, but the perpetrators in this case are subhuman scum. But today, we kind of have a whole family of scumbags to talk about. Chris Cole...
We had a whole family of scumbags in the Dark episode.
Yes, but this is in the Dark episode, so...
You're just throwing families of scumbags at me lately.
Indeed. The reason why we're covering this on this episode is because this family of scumbags were very religious based, and they're fucking thick as pig shit. So they deserve to be ridiculed for what they did. Now, at 6:43 a.m. on the 5th of May 2009, Chris Coleman called Detective Justin Barlow, who was coincidentally his neighbour. He asked him to do a welfare check on his family home, as his wife hadn't responded to any of the several text messages that he'd sent her over the past hour, and he was getting a bit worried. Now, Detective Barlow got dressed. He called dispatch for backup, grabbed his gun, headed over to the Colemans. Uniformed officer Jason Donjon joined him at the home shortly after this.
Donjon?
Yes, that has been a real hang-up for me every time I have listened to this. And counterpoint on this, I got the inspiration for this from This Is Monsters, and they do a brilliant fucking write-up on this. That's a brilliant video. And there is also another one, which is Crime Watch Daily. They actually have interviews with the parents, and they show the interrogation of Chris. So does This Is Monsters. So if you want to see how thick these people are, just go over there and have a look. But yeah, Officer Jason Donjon is going to have to power through this, right?
Sorry, I keep hearing Long John.
Yes, it's his surname. I keep hearing Don Juan. And it's like, this swarthy fucking lover comes up.
Oh, fucking hell. So between Chris Pratt and Don Juan, we're in for a fucking tantalising episode.
Yeah, exactly. So, Officer Jason joined Detective Barlow shortly after. They both approached the front door, and they got no answer. Officer Donjon went round the back, where he discovered a basement window that was open. The screen of the window had been taken off, and the window was open. He climbed in, and so did Detective Barlow. Now, after calling for more backup, they made their way through the house. As soon as they entered, they smelled fresh paint, and as they progressed through the house, they saw messages graffitied on the walls. This was in red spray paint that they saw. Some of the messages said, "You have paid," and "punished." Now, Detective Barlow was the first upstairs. He checked the two boys' rooms. In the first bedroom, he found 9-year-old Gavin. At first, he thought he was sleeping, but as he approached the boy, he saw that his skin had turned grey and the body was cold. He then checked on 11-year-old Garrett, and he saw that he was in the same condition. There was also the message, "Fuck you," sprayed on the child's bed. The spray paint had actually gone on to Garrett's skin as well. Yeah. Officer Donjon checked the master bedroom, where he found 31-year-old Sherry dead in the bed. She had multiple ligature marks on her neck and a black eye. Now, this black eye indicated she tried to fight back and received a punch for her troubles. Now, what happened? What went on in this? So, we'll take you back to Chris Coleman's upbringing. He was born in 1977 to Ron and Connie Coleman. Now, both these two were Christian pastors. Yep. They had conservative views, and they brought Chris and his two brothers up by the same values. Now, you like to think that because they were Christian, they'd be good values, but unfortunately, their values were a little bit warped.
This is like the 27th episode that we've done where Christian values are not good Christian values.
Exactly. People just use that book for whatever they want to.
Well, I'll go so far as to say the ratio is 100% not in their defence.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to fucking raise your children on values from a book, get the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Just a load of friends going out, having a laugh, basically. Killing bad guys.
I guess some of them were having a laugh. I don't necessarily know that Frodo was, but okay. Semantics.
I mean, he got the job done. Followed through, didn't he?
I mean, it was a lot harder than it sounded.
Just like a
Go to this volcano and drop a ring in it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Easiest assignment ever.
Yeah. If the Eagles would have picked them up and took them to Mordor, it would have been over in 6 pages, that book. Anyway. So Chris was described as sensitive. And so his father says he was distraught when his father butchered a rabbit in front of him. Now, in fairness, I think most children would be.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of have to take a pinch of salt with whatever these people say, because right out of high school, Chris joined the Marines. So I don't know how sensitive you have to be in the Marines, but I'm thinking if you cried in front of them, you would get
filled in.
Yeah, get put in a stress position for a few hours. Now, he trained as a dog handler, and in May 1997, while at a canine training seminar, he met Sherry Weiss, who was in the Air Force. Sherry was born in 1977, and although she was raised Catholic, she had a completely different upbringing to Chris. She was outgoing, she was lively, she enjoyed herself, she had a drink, which is anything Chris didn't. Chris once got drunk in high school, and he was so repentant, he confessed to his gym teacher.
Was the gym teacher not kind of like,
what's wrong with you?
Okay. What do they do? Do you guys do Hail Marys? I don't know. Why are you telling me this? I don't care.
Yeah.
Get drunk. Have fun. Live your best life.
The gym teacher was like, I'm drunk now. What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, Sherry also doesn't sound very Catholic. Are they allowed to have fun?
So this is the thing. She wasn't raised as conservative as Chris was. She was. It's said that she was the polar opposite to what Chris was, and opposites attracts. So this is the thing. Now, they quickly started dating, and by August 1997, they were married. Now, they'd only met in May of that year, so it was quite a whirlwind romance. Now, the day before they got married, Chris had visited his parents with Sherry, and he told them that she was just a friend, and he was just giving her a lift to Illinois.
Oh, I was giving her a ride, all right.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to guess that the parents were quite thankful that they were only friends, because Ron described Sherry as a worldly little girl, little short shorts, tattoo on her leg, not the person he'd be with.
I mean, I feel like my dad would say the same.
Yes. How little...
If I brought a girl home like that, my dad would say the same.
How little they know. So after the couple eloped, the very next day, Chris rang his father and told them that Sherry was pregnant, and this was the reason that they had married. Oof. So it was kind of a shotgun wedding, and this is something that kind of grated on his parents, with Ron going on to say that Chris regretted this decision, saying, "My gosh, he was raised in the church. He was repentant and broken over it." Which somehow gives him free rein to commit murder. So,
I mean, don't like all like hardcore religions just kind of think that people only have sex to reproduce anyway. So, has he really done anything wrong?
I think
he hasn't done it for fun.
I think it's more the fact
there's been an end result.
They were having sex before they got married, which was
they did.
Which, as we get further on, has nothing to do with anything, because we'll come back to that later on.
I mean, Jesus might disagree, Ant, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Not that he's one to talk.
So, yeah, he hung out with a prostitute.
Well, and his mum wasn't married when she had him. Oh, it's an immaculate conception.
Of course it is.
I try it myself one day.
Yeah, too many ciders around the back of the bins in Asda. So now that they were in the family way, Chris started looking for a job that would enable him to earn a decent amount of money, and this could allow Sherry to raise the children and look after the house like the Bible preaches. Chris was offered a job in security, working for Joyce Meyer, who was a televangelist who worked out of St. Louis.
Fuck me, this just gets worse.
Yeah. Now, I don't know whether the parents got them the job, but the parents, Ron and Connie, were known to Joyce Meyer because they have attended many of her lectures, and Chris had gone along with them to some of these lectures. So it may be who you know in this situation.
I'm just going to put it out there now. If the Pentecostals make an appearance in this episode, I'm disconnecting the call.
No, they actually don't, which is amazing.
They were the sane ones for a change.
Yeah, I mean, them and the Latter-day Saints don't appear in this, so fuck me, we can always say they're quite nice people from this one.
I think I'll just have to turn to Scientology.
Yeah. So, the Coleman family, they settled in the suburb of Columbia in Illinois, which was a short drive away from St. Louis and Chris's work. Now, Chris started out in general security, but he was soon promoted to Joyce's personal security team. Now, this meant he would be working away from home a lot, as Joyce travelled abroad on what she called her crusades.
Or her crusades. Is she using the church's money to go on holiday?
No, she actually thinks that is a good word to use when a Christian person goes abroad and tries to force their religion on other people, like all the Knights Templar did. And we saw how that worked out in the fucking 8th century. So...
I know, they were badass fighters. You weren't going to argue with them.
Yeah.
Some woman screaming in your face, believing God, is not going to change anybody abroad, especially not in, like, Benidorm or something like that.
Yeah.
Imagine her in Iron Apple. Exactly.
So, a little aside on Joyce Meyer ministers. As with most of the televangelists, Joyce had made plenty of money off her congregation, her crusades, and her self-help books. Now, Joyce Meyer Ministries owns a $10 million Gulfstream jet. The ministry paid Joyce a salary of $114,000 a month. A year?
A month?
No, a year, excuse me.
I was going to say!
A year.
I'm in the wrong pissing job here.
The ministry also paid for her $20 million home and 4 houses for her children that were worth a total of $2 million.
I mean, you're an ordained demonologist, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is.
We can get in on the church, can we?
Yeah, see, start a cult. This is the way fucking forward. I keep saying, like and subscribe.
Not only helps the algorithm, it helps line our pockets for when we start the cult.
Fucking may help us. So Joyce has gone on record stating that I should not have to work to try and support myself.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. She said a lot of times she was blessed. Why should blessed people have to work? She also said that a $7 million check would really bless me.
Would bless a lot of us, but
yeah.
Hell might freeze over the next day.
Exactly.
This crazy bitch.
She was at a congregation once and she asked for a donation of $5 million. She didn't receive that in actual money, but she received $5 million worth of stock that someone donated to her.
Why?
These self-help
Why
books...
would anybody do that?
Her self-help books must be really fucking good. That is all I've got to say.
What's she called again?
Joyce Meyer.
You know what? Fucking Amazon's going to sort this out.
She does have a lot. And apparently she just lives off the residuals of her back catalogue of books.
7,375 5-star reviews. What the I'm buying one.
Yeah, I mean...
Healing the Soul of a Woman. Sign me up. 50% off as well. It's only $7.99.
Yeah, I think you can't shut the stable door when the horse has run out, love.
Okay, so somebody's given it a 5-star review and put, haven't read as yet, but... But what? Tell me! I must know.
But she's rich, so...
Yeah. Okay, no, she's not going to suck... The bitch is not going to suck me in.
Yeah, and I hope she doesn't, because she was investigated by the IRS and a Senate State Commission to see if there were any inappropriate uses of funds and donations by Joyce and the ministry. But they still receive tax-exempt status. So... nothing was found.
Is her boat, jet and house not a misuse of funds?
Well, the board, any spending that she does, the board have to approve. Guess who the board is made up of?
All her mates?
Her husband,
family.
who receives a salary, and her children, who are there. I'm not saying they're the only ones on the board, but they're on the board. So, the family life of the Colemans began deteriorating. Now, the couple were arguing, firstly, over the amount of time Chris was spending away working, which is fair enough because he was going to different places. He travelled to India, he travelled to Hawaii, it being with Joyce's personal detail, but he wasn't spending time with the family and showing them any kind of affection. Now, the second issue was the amount of money that Sherry was spending. Now, Chris was on $100,000 a year, which was way over the median amount which American households earn. But he was somehow under the impression that this was his money. It wasn't Sherry's, and it wasn't the children's money. It was his money. So why are other people spending it?
I mean, I'm kind of with him on this one. You know, we don't have a joint bank account in our house, and we don't have a joint bank account for a fucking reason. My money is my money, and I don't want it spent on 5 headsets a week, all over £100. But that being said, if I had kids, it's kind of a joint effort.
Exactly. It's teamwork. We're the same here. We have different bank accounts. We have separate bank accounts. Never money mixes. We pay for different stuff. But we don't have kids, so it's kind of different. And when you want your wife to look after the house and not work, surely she needs some kind of stipend to work with there. Now, the final point of contention that caused arguments were the after hours lights out times. Chris was unaffectionate in public, and he was the same behind closed doors. It got to the point where Chris demanded that Sherry faced away from him when they were doing sexy times, and not because he enjoyed that position, but because he couldn't stand to look at her.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, he should have thought about that maybe when he was impregnating her the first time round.
Indeed. Now, it's kind of speculated at this point that maybe because Sherry wasn't free and wild anymore, you know, she had ties, she had a family, she wasn't outgoing, so she wasn't as opposite as Chris as she was in the beginning. So he became to resent that he wasn't receiving the same kind of Sherry as he did. But if you're in a relationship, shit changes over time and people change over time in that relationship.
You grow up.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't really think this through. Now, despite all this, Sherry wanted to stay and work at the marriage. They even had counselling from someone from within the ministry that Chris worked for. No.
They're not trained counsellors. I'm sorry, but just because you read the Bible doesn't mean that you know what's best for somebody in a counselling environment.
Yeah. So in 2008, Chris was introduced to Tara Lintz. Now, Tara was Sherry's ex-best friend. And if you don't know why she was her ex-best friend, it's because Chris started fucking her. So, when Sherry joined the Air Force, Tara started working at a gentleman's club in Florida. She then went on to work as a waitress at a dog track. Now, these aren't inherently bad jobs, but you know.
I feel like I personally would be talking one of my friends out of working at a gentleman's club just because I don't feel like it's the classiest career choice for people that I know.
Indeed, and I don't want to make assumptions, but I think if someone, and please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, and I don't want to sound sexist or misogynistic or anything like that, but I think if someone goes into that kind of work, they're looking at manipulating people into paying for their stuff.
Oh yeah, and I mean this is the only bit of like a strip joint or like sex work that I'm actually okay with. I'm thinking like, if you're the idiot that is gonna throw money at me for looking at my boobs, here, have them, give me some 50s.
Yeah.
Like, fair play to those girls. Like,
yeah, no,
they saw an opportunity and they worked with it.
100%. I will think. I do think, not that I've ever been, that they are geniuses. We'll move on quickly. They're geniuses.
They are, though.
in what they are doing, and manipulation may have been the wrong word, but they know how to.
No, it's totally the right word.
Use someone in the correct way to make themselves better.
Yeah, they're like the best kind of car salesman.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even have to buy a car.
Indeed.
To then sell.
So Chris started to take Tara away with him when he was working abroad with Joyce. Now, this was dangerous for Chris because A, most employers don't smile very warmly when you're making the beast with two backs on company time. And two, Joyce was kind of fanatical in the fact that if you were, maybe it's not fanatical, but if you were found committing adultery, you would be sacked. Even employees that had worked for Joyce and got divorced were sacked because Christians frown on divorce.
Well, I feel like Christians frown on strippers as well. It was probably never going to be a good arrangement.
This is the thing. And yeah. But he somehow managed to get away with it, and it even got to the point where Ron, Chris's father, knew about the adulterous relationship because a sex film was found on Ron's hard drive of the two.
God, no. Can you imagine looking through and seeing your son or your daughter on a sex tape on your hard... Oh my God, I can't even.
So
I'd be mortified.
Yeah, there's no justification as to why it was there. Maybe Chris went round and put it on just to save it there, or...
Do you know how much, unless he filmed it with a potato, do you know how much hard drive space that's taken up?
Yes.
What year was this?
2008.
It will have had 100 gig most. Tops.
Exactly. Now, Ron even tried to justify this affair by later saying that Sherry wasn't fulfilling her wifely duty. So Chris had to find, and I quote, respect somewhere else. Now, yeah, he equated sex with respect and called Sherry a bad wife for the way she treated Chris, even though Chris had said he didn't want to have sex with Sherry.
Do Chris's parents not frown on adultery as well?
And this is the thing, they kind of try to justify it by saying, no, he was right, because as a man, you need to have respect in your home, because this is what the Bible preaches. So, but
the Bible also preaches that adultery is bad.
Yeah, I'm sure that's one of the 10 Commandments, last time I looked. It was up there.
They're picking their battles here.
Exactly. They're just justifying it however they wanted to do. Now, they're scumbags. And you can see, just like, I implore you to go and watch Crime Watch Daily just to see the interviews with the parents, because both of them, Connie and Ron, say it with a straight face about how they feel, and they think it's absolutely fucking okay. It's just, they're just so deluded and fucking scumbaggy. It's unbelievable.
Connie and Ronnie.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They may as well be brother and fucking sister.
And if you combine both of their names, you kind of get crony, which is what they are.
So, in November 2008, Chris started receiving threatening emails from an email address which was destroychris@gmail.com.
No!
Yeah.
They could sell that one for some good money now.
Yeah.
That's like one of them rare ones. Like if it was Destroy Chris 1987.
Oh, yeah. No, they didn't.
TXTVW exclamation.
Exactly. They didn't need to put any 01s behind that. No numbers on that one. So these threats revolved around the fact that he worked for Joyce, with messages telling him to tell Joyce to stop preaching the bullshit or Chris and his family will be killed. And he was sick of Meyer's pampering ass flying all over the world. So, swings and roundabouts, because he was trying to cut down Joyce's carbon footprint there and save the environment. I think Greta would be proud. But Joyce had received death threats in the past, but she, in a deposition to the police, she said not one of her security team that she had worked with before had ever received any. So I think this is the first thinking emoji that we kind of have here, where we go, So Chris received a few emails, but then the perpetrator resorted to the old-fashioned way of sending someone a threat, and he started hand-posting mail into his mailbox. Now,
was it the Circleville guy?
It genuinely could have been, because after delivering his first, the first handwritten piece of mail, Detective Barlow set up a camera that pointed at the Coleman's house. Now, it wasn't attached to the Coleman's house. I think it was attached from the view that you can see. It's not far away, but it's not on the Coleman's house. It's looking down the street, if you look at the videos of it. Mm-hmm. So, the next time it caught someone approaching the mailbox, they had a hoodie on, and they never once looked in that direction.
Like they knew it was there.
Kind of like that. And I mean, this is where the second thinking emoji comes up. And yeah. In April, Chris would receive the last message, which read, "This is my last warning. Your worst nightmare is about to happen." All in caps. So So,
No, it means business when they be shouting in caps.
yeah. Unfortunately, this was true for Sherry and the two boys, but Chris didn't seem as concerned. Considering he was supposed to be a doting husband, playing this up for Joyce Meyer because he didn't want to get sacked from his job, but he doesn't even be concerned as a husband that doesn't want to be suspect number one in a murder that may happen in the future. For a start, let's kind of have a look how the police entered the house. They entered the house through an open window. Now, Chris was a member of a security team for quite a famous person. So he was receiving threatening emails, threatening notes. Surely he should try to lock his doors, his windows, try to keep his family safe.
If he was out with Joyce, abroad. And Sherry was just like, psh, opening the windows, fucking hot in here.
Yeah, but I mean, she was aware of these emails as well. Now, when Chris arrived at the residence after the murders, he arrived at 6:56 a.m. So this was over an hour after he had left on that first morning. Now, rather than ask to see the bodies or try to be restrained and come up shout, scream, he sat down on the lawn and started crying. Now, that's fair enough, because we all grieve in different ways. You don't know what's going on in his head.
Wait, with your first question, like, if, your wife and figurative kids had been killed, would your first question really be, I want to see the bodies? That's morbid as fuck, aren't you? You're on the triad, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a movie trope, isn't it? Where they go, I need to see them, and show a little bit.
Oh, no, I don't want to see whatever mess has gone on in there. You can just tell me about it later.
I mean, personally, I would, but that's just because. And then I'd walk in and go, I didn't leave them like that. Someone else has been in since I left.
See that open window?
Yeah. Pointed out everything. Like, I locked that. 100%.
Why didn't we check the CCTV?
So, the paramedics obviously thought he was in shock after this because he wasn't reacting to anything. So, they looked over him. And apparently a pastor was there. I don't know why and how, but a pastor was there. And
fucking nosy neighbours.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Because this is literally only 13 minutes after he's rang the detective. So this pastor's just turned up. I'd like to think it was...
Plus he rang the pastor as well.
Yeah, I'd like to think it was paramedics, but other people have said it's pastor. But they went over to have a look at him and see what was wrong. And they noticed scratches on his arms and how his knuckles were a little bit redder than they should have been. When he was confronted with this, he started punching the stretcher that was next to him. In anger?
I mean, stretcher. Was there not a wall available?
Yeah. So it was the nearest thing to him. So he sat down. The ambulance, the coroner, paramedics had pulled a stretcher out, and it was there ready to go in the house. And apparently he started punching it. And if you watch the interrogation videos, when he's in the interrogation, he says, "Oh, I'm cold. Have you got anything that I can wear?" He's wearing a short sleeve t-shirt, and they say, "Have you got anything I can wear?" And they bring him a towel, and he sat with the towel over his arms, like nobody else has seen this. Like the paramedics haven't seen it. He thinks he can get away with it from the detectives not looking at his arms, which is obviously going to cause suspicion. Like, why are you fucking putting the towel like that, son? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, throw it around your shoulders, and then maybe just stick your hands under your armpits or something like that. It's
literally over his arms like that, and he's answering questions like that. Fucking idiot.
hissing with sweat.
Yeah.
I'm so cold.
Yeah. So
extreme.
I'd love to say that this should be the third thinking emoji where he's punching the stretcher, but we're going to stop that because we go into double figures on them fuckers because there's so much that we're going to delve into now. So the camera that was placed to watch his house to see this nefarious person coming up and hand delivering these letters, it caught Chris leaving the house at 5:45 a.m, which he did say he left at on the dot. But he stated in his first interview with the police that he had to reverse out and he broke suddenly because he let another car pass. On the camera, you can see him just driving frontwards straight out of his drive. When asked...
go on.
Yeah, it gets better. When asked if he had ever bought any red spray paint, Chris said he hadn't, and if he had any paint in the house, it would be old. A receipt was recovered.
I thought you were going to say, and if he had any, it would be yellow.
I don't like red.
Not a fan of red.
No.
It's an angry colour.
Yeah. More passive, isn't it, yellow? So, a receipt was recovered that confirmed Chris's credit card information on it had been used to buy a can of red spray paint in February 2009. Now, enter stage left. Chris's dad, Ron, tried to save him, said to the police that Chris had used this spray paint to make bullseyes for the kids for their paintball practice. So...
Sounds legit.
Yeah, but surely, rather than saying, no, I've never bought any red spray paint, surely that memory would stick out in your mind. Oh yeah, we were paintballing and we're doing bullseyes. So, well done, Ron. You've just thrown your own kid under the bus there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Chris also claimed he wasn't having an affair. He was just guilty of sending flirty messages to Tara. Yet... while Tara was being interviewed by the police, Chris sent her a message. And on the video, she actually says, yeah, he's just sent me a message.
It's a dick pic. Look.
Yeah. She also admitted to the affair, the fact that they had bought promise rings for each other, and that they had signed up for a wedding registry.
Oh, but no affair. It was all a joke. It was a joke. We were playing D&D and our characters in D&D, like they were going to get married or something.
Yeah. So, after all these little inconsistencies, the police thought, this guy could be a wrong 'un. We'll have to keep an eye on him. They subpoenaed his computers and phone, and they found just so much stuff. They found several intimate videos and pictures. If you'd like to know one was of him masturbating in the shower.
Why would he have that on his own phone or computer?
Saying how much he loved Tara, and he sent it to Tara. He also had a list that included Tara's jean size, bra size, her height, her birthday, her dog's birthday, and all her account usernames and passwords. So,
okay,
at the least,
I get that.
If he's not guilty of murder, he's a fucking stalker.
Well, I get the second. I totally get her dog's birthday. All over that. That's very sweet. Why does he need to know her height? I don't understand that at all.
I mean, why does he need to know? Why does he need to have that written down?
I don't know. I mean, I get like jean size. Maybe he's going to buy her a nice pair of Levi's for her birthday. Like bra size. Maybe boys like to buy girls sexy underwear. I don't know why, because it's like, bring on the alcohol. Fuck off the sexy underwear. Look, we could be hoovering, okay,
yeah.
while you're thinking of other things.
Yeah.
So, but the height, I don't...
Yeah, it's just fucking, he's a wrong 'un. Now, it was at this point that the police enlisted Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Michael Bodin to do an autopsy. Now, I just have to state his credentials for the record here. He was chairman of the House Select Committee into assassinations, and he investigated the assassination of JFK. He also worked in New York for many, many years as a chief coroner pathologist. So he kind of knows his stuff. He gave the time of death.
Don't know if he was involved in the fucking assassination of JFK. Don't get me started. Do not get me started.
Here we go. Here we go. Well, maybe you'll agree to this in the end. We'll come back to that. So he gave the death as between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. as the bodies were already in a state of mortis that would need a couple of hours at least to manifest. Like, the skin was grey. They weren't fully rigor mortis, but they were kind of getting there. Now, under oath, he testified that it wasn't even close that they would still be alive before Chris left at 5:45 a.m. The police investigation found the threatening emails. They found out the IP address and where they came from. I'm going to give you one guess.
Was it his spare room? His computer?
It was Chris's work laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he tried to get out of this by saying he didn't use his work laptop. He did take it with work with him, but he had a personal laptop that he used and took everywhere with him, and he kept it on him at all times. So this work laptop, it was left in the hotel, it was left in the car, it was left here. He didn't access it that much. Now, as a security man of a famous Christian pastor, surely you should be keeping all your data very secure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I did say none of these people were very clever.
You reckon? It's two buttons. It's Windows and L. That's it.
Yeah.
You know? Not hard. Just
No.
lock it.
So, it gets worse.
Bet his password was 1234 as well.
I bet it was just fucking password, to be quite honest with you. Whatever the company gave him, whatever Dell gave him, was fucking that password.
Yep.
So, the police also noticed, I mean, the police didn't have to do much investigation into this. Fucking hell. The police also noticed that the threatening messages spelt the word opportunity incorrect. So, it was spelt OPPURTUNITY.
Opportunity.
Yeah, which I didn't know until I did this research was incorrect. So,
I mean, I don't. How? I mean, was it a word that he regularly misspelled? Because you can't just say, "Oh, serial killers." No, they are the best spellers. No, sir, I am not having it. No, it can't be a serial killer. It must be him.
So, 100 points to Atreya, because strangely enough, every time Chris spelt that word in any correspondence he had, whether it be text messages or emails, he would spell that word the same way. And you know what? They also were able to match his handwriting samples to the graffiti that was on the fucking wall.
I feel like he didn't think this through very well.
No.
I feel like he watched Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Another one, because there is another one. Chris had never texted Sherry in the morning to ask how she was doing, if she was up, how were the kids, until the day of her murder. He had never been that bothered about what was going on in her life to be able to text her. He sent several text messages on the day of his murder. This guy does not know how to build a fucking alibi.
You reckon?
Yeah. Now, the final nail, I fucking hope, I mean, there could be more, but the final nail that I came across of the coffin in Chris's flimsy excuses is that during the autopsy, Sherry had DNA under her nails that didn't belong to her. So, like we said, she put up a fight. So when it was analysed, it came back as inconclusive. But this was because it was fucking hell, here we go. It was... I should fucking space this out. Mitochondrian DNA rather than...
Mitochondrian.
There you go. Rather than...
I only know that because of Parasite Eve too.
There you go. Rather than nucleus DNA. So that means that it never gave a direct match. But it did give the family that it came from. So rather than saying it was him, it's like, it could have been one of these people in this small fucking area. So it was basically Coleman DNA. But Chris was like,
so
it's not mine.
It was him or the kids, basically.
Yeah. So, or maybe the parents, which is quite interesting because the way they hated her. But Chris's defence was, not that I'm sticking up for him, so don't go at me, but Chris's defence was that he never used a laptop that the emails originated from, but some of the messages mentioned intimate details. He went on a trip to India when he'd be out the house, etc., when Sherry was vulnerable. And because the DNA wasn't a direct match, then it couldn't be him. But then, he's kind of throwing someone that had the same DNA as him and knew his schedule. So he's like, it's not me, but it could be one of my family members. So just have a look at them.
I feel like it's not beneath him to throw his mum and dad under the bus.
Oh, dear God, no. And they...
Or vice versa.
Yeah, and they probably would have prayed the fucking way out of her. Now, at trial, Chris was found guilty of all 3 counts of first-degree murder, and he was eligible for the death sentence. This is the one time that I'm going to say, fucking hell, Missouri, because they abolished the death sentence before he had time to be faced with it. So he was sentenced to 3 life sentences with no possibility of parole. Now, he appealed, but basically they told him to go fuck himself. But he still claims to be innocent. And on an interview with Crime Watch Daily, he's gone on record claiming that he knows better than the experienced autopsy doctor, and there's a different formula that put his family's death at 5:47 a.m.
2 minutes after he left the house.
There you go.
That's a pretty quick break in and let's murder the family.
There you go. And in the next breath, he goes on to say, well, nothing of that is precise or exact. Yet he gave an exact time.
5:47 is pretty exact.
Yeah, so he does, like, what, please?
At approximately 5:47.
Yeah, but you went, no, they died at 5:47 exactly, and they were going grey at less than an hour later, and they were cold.
How did they die?
They were strangled.
So, could they not have compared, like, his hand size to, like, the bruising on the throat?
Ligature marks, excuse me.
Oh,
so he
okay,
used
yeah,
something.
fair enough.
And if, as we know, strangulation or that kind of thing is quite a personal thing, it's not something... I'm not going to say it's not something, but 9 times out of 10, it's not something that a random stranger would do. It's someone who has hate for these people.
It is, but at the same time, I feel like using the ligature makes it less personal because you're not actually physically using your own hands. I think, like, that's what makes it, like, you're physically doing it with your own hands, skin on skin kind of thing. Using a ligature is exactly, like, What's the difference between using a ligature or stabbing somebody? It's the same thing. You're not actually physically touching them.
I suppose. I mean, I
still think it's him,
Yeah,
but I'm just...
I will caveat that by saying that the bodies were covered by the duvets, the blankets, which should have mentioned earlier, but obviously that is a sign of shame when...
Guilt.
Yeah, you don't want to look at it anymore, so you cover it up.
Yeah.
I'd say them two factors are enough to convict him, but every fucking thing else is... This is open and shut. It's like he just doesn't even have a clue. But the annoying thing is he's still trying to fight his corner, still trying to say he's innocent. He's never owned up to this. And his parents still think he's fucking innocent.
No, they don't. They're just not going to tell anybody else that.
They don't.
They fucking know he did it.
They don't want him in prison then.
I mean, I hear prison's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean...
Sky TV, gyms, libraries, catering facilities. Yeah. Why work?
Well, indeed, yeah. I mean, you don't have to pay taxes. I'd agree with that.
You can find your inner passion, like Ed Gein did, with his leather making in prison.
Indeed, yeah. You can do, like, degrees and shit. All free. You don't have to pay the outrageous prices that the Open University charge, I tell you.
Exactly. So do we think that new Chris Pratt kind of had heard this story and went, that's a good idea, because I'm having an affair of my own with a yoga teacher?
I just think they're both, like, just idiots.
They just both have really stupid ideas.
They're just both idiots that thought they could get themselves out of a situation that they didn't really want to be in without offending this imaginary god, or without offending their parents, or I don't know. I just think they're both fucking idiots.
Isn't it mad the lengths men will go to for a woman?
It is. I mean,
for a booty call. Pretty nuts.
I fucking really wouldn't do it, and it's been a while, I'll be honest.
I just think it's so weird, like, men are all like, yes, of course I'll murder my entire family for you because you have got the peachiest ass I have ever seen. And a woman's like, do you have life insurance? You do. Let's talk marriage. Yeah. You know, women are just like, I need the money, or you've pissed me off and nobody gets to fucking piss me off and survive. That's it. There's no, like, we don't do it for sex.
But then again, it's like, women are like, so what are you allergic to? Just making a note. Okay. You'll die if you have nuts. Okay, I'll note that down. See.
Quick question, do you have an arsenic intolerance at all? Yeah. What is your tolerance level?
I'll see you in a fucking few weeks.
Here, have this ibuprofen. It's in a glass vial. It's fine. It's the posh brand. Really? It looks like those old-fashioned cyanide pills. You crazy eat.
I went to an old-school doctor. He had lots of bubbling test tubes in his office.
What do you call it? It's a homeopathy.
Yeah.
It's Reiki healing. Just go for it. Amen.
Yeah.
Just make me laugh.
So they're just fucking idiots, really. I don't even know why men try and commit murder. They're just...
I mean, some of them are very good at it.
I know, but when you bring
always for the wrong reasons.
Women into it, they just fucking fall apart, don't they? And just start thinking with
like, I mean, probably people did try, but it's like, I wonder if like a bloke, just a rando bloke, just kind of went, I think I could probably murder Hitler. If I make a good enough plan, I think I could do it. Hitler's still alive, because they were probably like, fuck it. I was onto Hitler, but ooh, that girl has got a nice pair of pins on her. Totally distracted, that's it. New target.
I mean, there was the assassination attempt of Hitler. But unfortunately, that was at a beer keller. So you know what them women are like with the busty lederhosen and shit like that. So they probably went,
Exactly. So
They
yeah.
just looked at her and went, "Oh, I'll just put this bag with the bomb down here and go and get a beer." And Hitler's walking out
What
the door.
was I here for again?
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Hilda, where you from? I own a big boat.
I just feel like you make a rod for your own backs.
Yeah.
Well, the porn industry wouldn't do quite as well as it does, let's face it.
Exactly. Just not even going to comment on that. Move on. On that bombshell.
I knew what you were going to say.
On that bombshell. This has been the MO podcast with me, Consummation San.
And me, Atreya.
Thank you all so much for joining us, and we shall see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
The MO podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast.